Hello, good evening, or yeah, good evening, good night. That sounds like a goodbye, but it's 9 o'clock, so it's good night. It's Wednesday, March 1st. Not February anymore, March. Somehow it's already March 2023. Fun fact, I started reading this book my sister recommended, and I think I've mentioned this before, but it's The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, I think it is, LaRue, something like that. Anyway, so I was reading a chapter last night, and I hadn't looked at it before, so I opened the page. First sentence of this new chapter, March is a, what did it say? March is a very fickle month, or historically a fickle month. Either way, I thought it was funny that it was February 28th, so the last day of the month, about to be March. And this new chapter opens up talking about how March can be a fickle month. It's like, oh, great. And I don't know if you're into astrology or things like that, but if you listen to a lot of the readings, there's so many changes happening in March between Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn and everything. And I'm a Taurus, so I'm probably losing any of the 4 people who watch these are probably like, oh, please, no astrology. But I like astrology, so sucks for you. The Taurus reading was also pretty intense. It's like, change, there's going to be change everywhere. Pluto is going into Capricorn for 20 years, so it's going to be pushing you. It's like, oh, great, here we are, whatever. Ironically, I've been thinking a lot, probably the past 3 years easy, especially the past couple months, how I just want a change in my life. And I don't mean like a drastic change. Like, I love who I'm with. I love my dog. I think the biggest change I would like is my career. More so that I don't really want a traditional career anymore, and I don't really know what that means. But to have more flexibility in life, to like enjoy things more instead of it just being on the weekend. At the end of last year, I got this kind of workbook for the year from a gal called Shutterbeam. She does Instagram stuff, but she also sells like food journals and year and like summary books, and it's kind of like not self-help, but like just kind of self-reflection and ways to better yourself and kind of keep things on track. So I bought myself one, ended up getting my sister one after telling her about it. And part of it is it makes you pick a word for the year. Like, what is your word for the year? And I picked freedom for, well, reasons I just spoke of. I want more autonomy, I guess, in my life. I'm kind of over the 9-to-5-esque corporate job. I've had one my entire life. Even when I was a teenager in high school, I worked at an ophthalmologist as a filer. It was only 15 hours a week, but that turned into a 40-hour job, doing the filing, running tests on patients, which turned into becoming the receptionist, which they called a patient service rep. It was just the whole thing. So from the beginning, I've always had a Monday through Friday 9-to-5 job, which a lot of people would say, oh, boo-hoo, you had a stability from the beginning. And I did, but it's kind of, I'm not looking for instability. I'm just looking for something, a change, I guess, would be the best way to say it. But also change is scary, and inconsistent income is terrifying, personally. And I'm finally at a place, career-wise, that's very, very stable, at least feels that way. I guess no career is really 100% stable, but that's how it feels. So it's kind of ironic, kind of how things are being explained, at least, when it comes to astrology and transits, and all the planets are direct, and all of these things. So I don't know, lots to consider. I guess we'll have to wait and see what March does. I'm excited for it, honestly. I read a thing online that said February is the Tuesday of the year, and it feels like the Tuesday of the year. It's like, all right, I'm done with February. Can we move on, please? Kind of like January. I mean, as an accountant, January is never a fun month because you're dealing with closing of the prior year and then taxes and 1099s, and it's just like, ugh, let me get past this point. So we're finally past that. February is kind of a trickle over of stuff that happened in January. So generally March is when it kind of finally levels off and we can just kind of move on with our lives and get back to a normal day-to-day. I will say, living in Florida, our winter is over, or according to the forecast, winter's over. We had a couple cold snaps, especially like in October. It got pretty chilly, and then November and December it got very chilly, like in the 30s. We had frost on the roofs and stuff. But February we barely had any cold snaps, and now it's like 80 degrees every day, and it's already March, so that tells me it's going to be a warm summer, which is fine. Just sometimes, like last year, we had pretty chilly weather all the way through May, which was also bizarre. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Makes you wonder. I know like they're having snow out in California. They had a blizzard warning. Disneyland had snow today, that seems very bizarre. Makes you wonder what it's going to be, or what the effects will be on like tornado season, which I know they're already predicting. I think there's already a tornado in Oklahoma, like a major one, or substantial. So that'll be interesting. Side note, obviously tornadoes can be very damaging and terrible, but probably 10 years ago now, Josh and I used to watch Storm Chasers when that was on. We got really into it, and we got into a habit of watching it, and in Florida, even in like April, May, we can start getting bigger storms with lightning and thunder and torrential downpours. So we'd have days, like weekends, where it would be stormy like that, and we'd have the show on, and although, yes, there was Reed Timmer guy who was yelling, and then a Casey guy who was always whining, but it was still a fun show to watch. Personally, my favorite team was Tim Samaras' team. Of course, he tragically got killed, him and his son and his friend. That sucked. That day sucked, because I was like, he kind of reminded me of Carl Sagan, so it was like, that was my favorite team, and of course the most responsible, logical group is the one that gets knocked out, which makes no sense, but such is life. Anyway, tornado season's coming up, so that's kind of scary. Obviously, I don't want anyone to get killed or their homes damaged or hurt, but it's still interesting. And then after that, we have hurricane season, so that's going to start June 1st. Although, I want to say last year they talked about changing it to start in May, like May 1st, because over the past several years, I think the last at least 7, there had been named storms, like even as a tropical depression or something, in May, so before the official start of the season. So I think I read, because they were talking about the names for 2023, it still was like, hurricane season starts June 1st, so maybe that didn't go through. I don't know. It's like daylight savings time. They keep talking about overturning it, and then it's going to be the weekend after next. We're going to spring forward, which is not fun. I hate springing forward. Falling back is great. Gaining an hour, do it all day. Great. Losing an hour stinks, to say the least. But what can you do? Yeah, I'm rambling a lot. Fun fact, tonight we went to a new restaurant, and honestly in Florida, restaurants like this, like, it's new to us, but generally not exactly new when it comes to the food. So we went to a place called Billy's Stone Crab and Seafood or something like that. It's on Tierra Verde, so it's on the way to Fort DeSoto at the end of the county. And the reason why we even knew this restaurant existed is because we watched a movie called Summer Rental with John Candy in it, which was filmed in this area. It was filmed on Redington, Madeira, Treasure Island a little bit of St. Pete Beach for the theater, and then Tierra Verde for where the Barnacle was. So, fun fact, this restaurant, Billy's, they built the Barnacle restaurant right next to it. So that's why we even knew it was there. So we decided to try that out tonight. And it was good. Like, the restaurant was cool. There's another restaurant I've gone to since I was a child on John's Pass, which is between Madeira and Treasure Island, called the Friendly Fisherman. It's been there for like 45 years or something. But they do like regular, mostly it's just seafood, so like fresh caught seafood. So you got grouper, you have shrimp, scallops, salmon, mahi, then they have turf stuff too, whatever. And this place is basically the same. The only exception is they also had stone crab sometimes, and lobster. So Florida lobster and Maine lobster sometimes, I guess they flew in. So I got grouper tacos, Josh got a salmon dish, and it was good. It wasn't anything amazing, like I wouldn't run back there just for the food. The atmosphere was really cool, the view was pretty. It was good. It wasn't anything to write home about, I guess. But I'm glad we went there because it was cool to see you could see kind of one of the shots from the movie. So that made it kind of worth it just alone. And also, going out to eat is always fun. One thing that's funny is that if you live in Florida long enough, it's starting to change a little, not a ton, but this time of year, if you go out to eat, especially near the beach, you will see all of the people down for the winter. And generally, those people are older. So when I was a kid, we called them snowbirds. So they migrated, right? So in the winter, they came down. In the summer, they go back. That was clearly the case here. Lots of snowbirds, lots of older people, which to me is just, honestly reminds me of my grandparents. My whole family's from New York. My parents moved down here because they got transferred with their job back in the late 80s. And my grandparents, so my dad's parents, would come down every year for about a month. So they'd come down basically the whole month of February, and they'd stay on the beach and we'd go visit them. And so it's kind of like a fond memory seeing these people now. Like my nanny's passed. My pop is like, gosh, I think 94, 95 now, so he doesn't really travel for understandable reasons. So going to these places and seeing these older people and couples and friends, because my nanny was very social, it's kind of nostalgic. So it's like, oh, it's like what my grandparents were. Like that's kind of like a fond reminder of what they used to do when they came down. So yeah, it was by far an interesting experience. I don't think I'd be running back, but it seemed like a good place, like for a, I don't know, Saturday or Sunday afternoon to go get a drink and like sit out on their patio and look over, because it's kind of like on an intercoastal, so you can see mangroves. It's very pretty, like it's a pretty intercoastal, but it's definitely like mangroves, intercoastal, but very nice. So it was a good experience overall. Took us forever to get there just because of rush hour. You can clearly tell a ton of people have moved to this county because it took us an hour basically to get down there. And it should have taken us 20 minutes, 25 minutes, maybe 30 if we really took it slow. But, whatever. Fun fact though. So we ordered our food. We ordered an appetizer, which was grouper bites. It was literally just blackened little chunks of grouper. And then our entrees. And so it took a while to get our appetizer. We got that and it was good. We ate it and we're good. We're talking and our waiter comes back with like a little basket of hush puppies and a loaf of bread and butter. And he puts them down. He's like, the kitchen's backed up, so I brought these complimentary things for you in the meantime. We're like, all right, cool. Like, what are you going to do? It's fine. It happens. I don't really care. Like, at least they acknowledged it and let us know and just didn't let us just sit there. So we're sitting there. Usually we don't order things like hush puppies or eat a ton of bread or anything. But like, all right, it's free. Might as well try it. So we ate it and it was delicious. And literally like 6 minutes later, our entrees come out. So I told Josh, I'm like, I feel like they kind of jumped the gun with the, hey, we're behind, we don't have your food yet thing. I mean, I appreciated it. It was very lovely. But it was also like, oh, I kind of feel bad. I kind of feel like you wasted food on us because you really weren't that behind. But either way, it was appreciated. So fun fact, they might do that if they're behind. Yeah, well, I guess I should wrap this up. But just kind of some random jabbering on weather and dinner. So here we are. I also put on makeup, although it's probably not catching on at all. And that was not a pretty face, but it's like a bluish. It was that color pop. I kind of see it. That I bought the other day at Target. It's like purpley pink kind of situation. So also I got this mascara and it's Physicians Formula. It smells like coconut. It's very strange. It's nice, but it threw me off. I was putting on like, this is a very strong coconut smell. Okay. I guess beachy, right? 'Tis the season. All right, I'm gonna try and wind down for a little bit. It's already almost 9:30, so I need to get to bed soon anyway because I ran a lot today and I need to run tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna end this now, but thanks for listening. I guess me ramble again. Not sure why anyone listens to these things at this point. It's just me talking to a little tiny Osmo camera and my dog sleeping already on the couch, or the beanbag. I also call it the dumpling. There he is. He's asleep. Understandably so. As we all should be, probably. But I'm going to sit, I'm going to watch something for a little while, kind of mellow out, and then go to bed. But on that note, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed my rambling. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys probably maybe tomorrow, sometime soon. I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm filming these when I feel like I actually have something to say instead of just like saying, hope you had a good day. Today was boring. Because who wants to listen to that? No one. So today I have a lot to talk about apparently. So here we are. But hope you had a good day. Hope you have a good night. Hope your tomorrow is awesome too. Hopefully March is what they all say it's gonna be, and lots of changes, but good changes. So hopefully that's true. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But hope you have a great night. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.